And we live, baby.
We are back.
We are back.
Back once again.
We are back.
What episode is this?
Episode 36.
36. And if you're watching, you'll notice that things have changed.
I know. Some of you may know this
Things have
background.
very changed.
Some of you may not.
And no one knows this background.
It's because it's new sheets, that's why.
New sheets.
Yeah, that's
New
why.
sheets. New lights. We're looking
But
well.
yeah, welcome back. This is the first time we've recorded in the evening as well. This is a Monday evening. We usually do it on the
We've done an
weekend.
evening before.
Have we?
We've done an evening with Lee. We did an evening with the Boy Detox.
Fair. It's been a while.
And Drew Diamond as well.
It has been a while.
Yeah, it has
I'm
been a
not
while.
used to it. This is a Monday, so respect the fact that we've turned
Wasn't
up
too
on a
keen.
Monday evening to do this.
Dan was off on a romantic weekend away
I was.
with his lover.
I went away with the misso. She took me away for my birthday, turned
Yeah.
30.
Woo!
The big 30.
I love it. I'm here for it.
Mm.
How was that birthday?
It was good. I just feel old, man. I feel good. But I do feel like I'm getting old. I don't know.
What do you
Like,
What do you mean you feel
Like,
old?
do you ever get this where you like bend over and you're like, you like put your trainers on, you're like,
No.
and like the other, you don't get any like movement pains.
Only when I wake up, but like that's just because I need to stretch.
Even when I like sit down, I go to sit back down, I'm like, oh.
You're just a very noisy person in general, though.
I don't know. It was weird. I was chatting to someone as well, and I think they asked me my age, and I was like, oh yeah, tour. And I was like, oh nah, not.
No, you're in the 30s now, mate.
Not twos anymore, man. I'm like, oh fuck. And then I don't know. I compared back to like when I was 20. I just thought, look at the last 10-year mark, and I was like, man, life has changed so much.
In fairness, most people say that you like your 30s are way better than your 20s.
Do you know what? I understand that, and I agree with it because I think
Because you're in your 30s now, you can
Nah.
you can speak from experience.
or a little bit. Yeah, look, mate, I'm like a week into my 30s. I've got a lot of wisdom. I know that you're not far behind me, but just remember I'm a week ahead of you. So anyway,
You're like a few months ahead.
I'm a few months. But at the moment, I'm 1 week into this like journey of wisdom
yeah,
and self-reflection.
I get it,
So
I get you.
it might be 3 months, maybe that's 3 months extra growth. But it is, I think, because the older you get, and I can only speak from personal experience, but it's like the less of a fuck you give.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've noticed that the older I'm getting, the less I care about other people's opinions, the less I care about, being popular or fucking being liked by everyone or having a great impact to everyone. The less I care.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll just rather be me, be myself, and if people don't
That's
like
true.
it, well, then fuck them off.
That's true.
And there are so many people I've come across, and people have been like, not, obviously, like same with everyone. I've rubbed people up the wrong way, and I'm also like, awesome, that's great, because now it's like we don't have to spend the next couple of months trying to be friends. We already know we're not going to be friends. So awesome, we've just done each other a favor.
Yeah.
Let's not deal with like the awkward.
Finish off the time wasting.
Yeah. Do you know like? Oh, it's like really off topic, but do you?
We haven't even got on a topic
No,
yet.
off topic of off topic. This is like
yeah.
a tangent on a tangent. But do you ever get that awkward moment where like you're walking down the street and you see someone who you used to know, you haven't seen them in ages, and it's like that, hey, and then you stop and have this like awkward chat. I'm like, hey, what are you up to? Let's catch each other for a beer.
I hate when people say that.
You know when people say that? I mean, people
They're
do
just
it.
like, we should definitely catch up. It's like, why?
Why? We don't.
Why are we gonna catch up?
You don't say that though.
No, but that you think it.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
obviously
yeah,
think there's
yeah.
like.
Good thing is, you both know. You both know
it's
that.
like you don't care what I'm doing in my
No,
life, and
no.
I obviously don't care what you're doing in your life. So why are we pretending like?
But yet you both have this like social etiquette of like, I know you don't care, I don't care.
Yeah.
But let's like do it just for like the
do
social.
this ping pong.
Yeah.
Do this back and forth.
Mate, we should go for a beer. Yeah, we definitely should. I'll call you.
I can think of nothing worse.
I know.
I barely want to go for a beer with my own friends, let
I
alone
know.
someone who isn't.
Like, oh no, sorry lads, I'm busy doing absolutely anything else.
Yeah.
So.
Well, actually, while you're here, people,
Yeah.
as usual, please follow us, like us on all our social media platforms. We've got Facebook, we've got Instagram, we've got TikTok, and in terms of streaming services, we have Spotify, we have Apple Podcast, we also have SoundCloud, and yeah, please please give us 5 stars, please leave a comment. But we may be coming off SoundCloud.
Oh, why? I mean, I know.
Because we don't need to use it anymore, because we were just using it as a hosting service.
Yeah.
So it's going to save us money.
Nice.
Because you have to pay for that subscription.
Do we?
Yeah.
I mean, we do.
Yeah.
I know this.
I just messaged you. Can you send me $75?
Oh, is that yeah.
But yeah, so our current episodes that we've posted on it will still be there, but because we have changed to our hosting, to Anchor, which allows us to have videos on our Spotify. That'll be our new hosting platform, and it shows video as well. So, yeah.
You've also been running your own TikTok page as well, mate. Been doing very well. Up to almost 13,000 followers.
No one knows about that.
Yeah, but it's an achievement.
I haven't told anyone about that.
Oh, have you not? Oh, we can cut this bit out.
Probably like 10 people.
Oh, we're still. I think, like already you're up to like 13,000 followers.
Yeah, it's going well.
It's fucking good, mate.
3 weeks. But yeah, I just had like, I think maybe 3 videos go viral, like 500,000. Biggest one's like 75,000.
I'm still waiting to do mine. So
Yeah.
I wrote the ideas on the back of my notepad.
Good.
And I just didn't do anything with it.
Okay.
I know.
So good. So at least you got the ideas.
Yeah.
Got the ideas.
Yeah. If anyone wants to give me some ideas, feel free. It's I'm trying to think of an idea, but
You've got an idea.
I've got an idea. It's like a sales TikTok page, and I'm writing these things down. And I think the fact we do it together is a big motivator for me because it's like I have to turn up. But it's harder when it's me on my own because it's like running your own business almost. Cause you're like,
hold you accountable.
It is. It's because like holding myself accountable. It's like I don't know. So I think it's easier having someone there because it's like you're always like keeping each other in check. It's like having a gym partner, knowing someone's going to turn up there with you.
But you haven't started yet, so I'm not doing a good job.
Yeah, no. But I'm saying you do. The fact we do it together. Because it's on my own. It's like it's a lot.
Yeah,
it's harder. It's not your job to keep me accountable for mine. That's my job. You've got no motivation to do that because there's no
I want to see you succeed, mate. So I do have
He'll
motivation.
be there out there selling with Safra. Watch out. He's coming at you in 2036.
Is it not Safra Cells?
No, it's selling with Safra. Oh, fuck. That sounds so much better.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to change it.
Safra Cells.
Safra Sales. Safra Sales is sold.
Safra Cells or Safra Sales?
Cells. I was thinking cells.
S-E-L-L.
Like S-E-L-L-S.
Okay,
Yeah. No one else has got it. There's no Safra out there. No Daniel Safra anyway. So.
Yeah. It's a good one.
But yeah, so guys, the reason... What we're going to talk about today, we're back, episode 36, and what we want to talk about today, and a really interesting one, coming up to 30, thought I would reflect on my time of dating and going into the new dating game. And there's a lot of interesting topics in this. So I was in a number of long-term relationships, which I've never spoken about before, and then moved to Bondi and started, I'd actually never been on a date until I moved to Bondi. So I'd never been on a date because all I'd done is done long-term relationships and I'd met them through friends and family, friends, and then did traveling where I did one-night stands, but I'd never done dating before. And it's the first one I went on was when I moved to Bondi, and it's an interesting experience. It's a very, very interesting experience, and I think there are so many people out there that I think the main reason why I wanted to talk about it is because there's so many things around it, like fears that people have when they go into dating. And I guess one of the things that I want to address is why and how you can kind of get over those fears. And some are the tips and tricks you can kind of do on first dates to give you a better chance of having a really good time. But yeah, that is, I guess, what I wanted to cover today. So
that's a good topic.
Thanks, mate.
Because I had to experience your whole first dating debacle when you first moved to Bondi.
You did. What's your thoughts on it?
On what, your first dating debacle or just in general?
Or just both. Let's go in mine in general.
You've definitely grown a lot since those stages, for sure. You didn't really know what was going on.
Nah.
You thought a girl really liked you because she opened up to you about family stuff. He's like, I think she wants to be in a relationship. I was like, no, she doesn't.
I know.
She just you're just having pillow talk, mate.
I know.
Casual sex etiquette, which we did that episode of the Boy Detox about.
That's when I first came onto the Boy Detox.
Which is a great article. We might actually put the link into this episode about casual sex etiquette.
We'll post it in.
Yeah. But I think, for you, you've definitely grown a lot then. And I think for anyone who's come out of, especially 2 long-term relationships, and those 2 long-term relationships did span from 18?
So 17 to 23.
Yes, 17 to 23, and then the next one was from
it was 17 to 21, then 22 to 27.
To whenever you moved to Bondi,
26,
28,
27.
28. Yeah, so that's a massive growing period because you're moving from a teenager in high school into adulthood, traveling the world. So that transition period between 20 and now 30 is a massive growth period, and the person you were 17 would have been a completely different person to when that first relationship ended, and then when the next one started to when it ended, again, you were a completely different person. So then because you never even experienced dating through that growth period, coming up to this end of your 20s, late 20s, going into your 30s, it is very like on walk territories. You probably like you wouldn't even really been on dating apps that much either
I'd
because
never met someone through a dating app.
Yeah.
I've never done any of that. This is so
because
new
you were
for me.
in a relationship
Yeah.
whenever dating apps kind of started because they
Yeah.
started when I was in maybe my third year of uni when I was in
Yeah.
my placement year.
And then backpacking, you don't
And then
go on dates,
backpacking,
you
you
just,
won't,
like,
you're not
one-night
dating, and you're
stands
not
and
really
stuff.
on
Nah.
dating apps really
Nah.
when you're backpacking.
I did. I went on dating apps. It just
Did
I just
you?
didn't know. I was like always better face to face. I'm
Mm.
a face to face kind of person, and like I had one night stands, but like, and I tried using a dating app. But I was awful because I hadn't like got my like texting game good.
Yeah.
I hadn't got my texting. I hadn't like improved my texting game. So I was like literally people on it, and I'd like message people, and I just was like, I don't know what to say. Hey, how are you?
And
I'm
most
like,
people on those are just so awkward and at the
yeah,
best
I'm
of
like,
times.
what do you do? What are you saying?
Yeah.
Like, so, you know, it is a really, if you've never done it before, it can be like a really unsettling experience. My like experience when I first came to Bondi, and this did happen to me. I remember the first couple of dates I went on, I was getting fucking hammered. I was like so nervous.
Yeah, you can smash before you went.
So smashed. I'd buy like a fresh bottle of vodka, soda water, all that kind of bollocks.
Dynamite.
And I was making like vodka lime sodas. One of the dates I went on, I ended up having like 6, 7 vodka lime sodas before going on the date, and then got there and was absolutely steaming, and it was like it was horrible to be that drunk on a first date.
Why do you think you felt like you needed to get drunk before you went?
So like when you alcohol is an inebriator of like your, is that the right way? It's an inebriator of like your social inhibitions, if that's the right way to say it, or like it
go
like,
with that.
it like dulls the senses.
Yeah.
So it makes you more relaxed, makes you more confident, and Dutch courage is a thing, like it is. And I would say to anyone, look, if you're tossing up having a drink or two before going on a date, just fucking do it. Like
Yeah,
it does.
not six,
One
but
or
two.
yeah, exactly. 1 or 2 drinks, I would say 100% do it. I think the reason why I was doing it is because I was so nervous, because it was like I hadn't done the dating experience before, and I thought sitting there, what am I going to talk about? Like,
Yeah.
And this is fears that people do get. What am I going to talk about? What am I going to say? What if there's like an awkward silence? What if this happens? And I think only through like experience, and it's a very valid fear, only through like experience, I would say, you've lived a life that's got you to this point. You have enough life experiences that the room won't suddenly go silent. And if it does, I'm very sorry.
Using my saying, you little
If
shit.
yeah.
This is my saying. He's about to steal. He's about to plagiarize this.
It's just going to come up with a CC copyright at the top right hand
Just
corner.
gonna like.
Saying,
I actually am gonna add that in.
Yeah.
He's gonna steal my. Go on. Don't butcher it.
Anyway, so you know you've got to this age through the life experiences you've had. You'll have things to talk about.
Yeah.
You will, and you know you talk about school and life and travels and holidays and you know. And the fact if you're going on a date with someone who's from another country, and a lot of the time living in Bondi, you're going out with other
always,
like English
yeah.
people. Already, there's like, why did you want to leave?
Yeah.
Why did you want to go here? What was going on in your life beforehand? What have you done here?
Yeah.
Where have you travelled and stuff like that? So I think that was a big reason why I used to get boozed, is because it was nerve wracking. But that did develop. I did that for probably 6 months, and you know, it really started to quiet down to the point where I, you know, have no drinks or just one drink just before going out. But like it's nerve wracking when you first do it.
I think for me, I was like that. Well, I didn't have 6 drinks, but I would always have a few drinks, maybe 1 or 2, before I went on a date. And then towards like the end of like my 20s, probably like 27, 28, I just stopped having drinks because, like you were saying there, I got to the point where I realized there is really, if based on the chats that I've had with this person over text or whatever, I've already got a good enough vibe that I know it's not going to be a horrible date.
Dry as fuck.
Yeah, because I already gauged through the text and whether I feel like it's gonna go okay. But then I did end up with this mindset after a while of thinking, I've lived 28 years.
Are you copying me?
Yeah, I've lived 28 years, 29 years. I was born in Jamaica. I moved to Ireland. Lived in Ireland for so long.
Never heard this
I
before.
then moved to Australia. Done all this. Done all that. I've like done quite a bit. Over the past like 29, 30 years that I've lived here. And then on the flip side, this other person has lived on this earth for this whatever length of time they've been here. So let's say say we're both 25. That's 50 years worth of life worth talking about on a first date. You know what I mean? Obviously, you don't have to go into like crazy detail, but the idea that you're gonna be nervous over maybe not having anything to talk about, I think is crazy.
I-
Especially if both parties are willing to put in the effort. I think.
I think as well, and this is like, I think that when you do go on dates and you are really nervous, I think sometimes you're also valuing like not the right thing as well. Because if you are going on a date and you have nerves, it's like, what am I nervous about?
What's your expectations?
What is it you're nervous about? Because
Yeah.
if you're nervous about what that person's going to think of you, that person hasn't earned that level of investment where you need to be worried about their opinion of you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that person doesn't pay your bills. You don't go to that person for advice. It really shouldn't matter what that person's opinion of you will be. But of course, it's easier said than done, and that honestly really does come with time. Like the first couple of dates I went on, I definitely would have been like, oh, I want to put my best foot forward, and you always should. But it was also like, oh, what if they don't think this of me, and what if they don't think that of me? And honestly, the later when it goes down, it's like, fuck it, I just want to have a good time.
Yeah.
And no matter what, if I have a good time, that's all that really matters.
Yeah.
Yeah,
fuck the other person, they don't matter.
Yeah, fuck the other person.
They should have a good time.
But as long as you've
I
not
get
the
you.
fact you've been a wanker, but it's like, as long as I have a good time, that will like that feeling and that atmosphere will rub off on them.
Yeah.
And hopefully they'll have a good time as well. But like for sure, starting out dating can be really nervous. And I would say to anyone who's like new to the dating game but really keen to like get out there, like apps, if you're using apps, I'd say just get swiping. Just get swiping, because it is a numbers game, and anyone that disagrees, like,
it is.
You're wrong. It's a numbers game,
especially for men. It's numbers.
The more you swipe, the more matches you get. The more matches you get, the more conversations you can have. The more conversations lead to more dates, and the more dates lead to either more relationships, more sex, whatever it is your end goal is.
Yeah.
You will get more out of that. And they're very much the same in sales. You have your leads and then you funnel it down to the closed deals. It's very much the same thing. I've wanted to talk about that for ages. And yeah, so I'd say anyone getting into the dating game, just get yourself out there as much as you can. Exposure is like so important. And especially when you're out at bars and going up to speak to people, because if you think about it, it's illogical to not approach. And however easy that doesn't sound, and it can be really nerve-wracking, when you do think about it, it is illogical to not approach. Like, what is the worst case scenario of you going up to that person? If the worst case scenario...
The boyfriend comes over and punches you in the face.
Yeah, that's like the really worst case scenario. But if the worst case scenario is if you just being told no, it's not really that bad. The worst case scenario is you go back to your table where you were 5 minutes ago and nothing really changed.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's it. So, like, I think next time you're in that situation, and I used to use this sometimes, is like the count back from 5 method. Because I think if you count back from 5 and you go, right, this is what I'm doing, I'm going for it, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And you don't like negotiate with yourself. You don't give yourself the room to think of the worst case scenario. What if this? What if that? Just go for it and just see what happens.
Yeah.
So I think exposure is like so important.
I agree with that. I think, but also there's a level of people who are very afraid of rejection.
But that's just like something you just got to get over. Like, and it's easy. Obviously, it's easier said than done, but it is also that easy. Like, you just do it. It's like a muscle. The more you do something, it's like in the gym. You'll go and you won't know how to like do a bicep curl. The more you do a bicep curl, your arms really hurt. You get DOMS for 3 days. You go back a few days later, you're like, oh, this is pretty easy. I can do the weight up. And then over time, rejection is really shit. I work in sales, so my job is rejection 24/7. And I have come from like a very like salesy background. And it's like rejection does get easier the more you get rejected. So it's like go through the no's now to start getting those yeses. The more you get rejected, the easier it will be and the less you care. So really, when you start thinking about it, every no will just eventually lead to a yes.
I think one of the main things whenever you're using that approach is to consider, for example, if we're using an example of walking up to someone in a bar, I think the one thing people should probably think about is them going up to this girl or them going up to this guy is what do you want the outcome to be? Like, what is the outcome of when you go to them? Is it just so that you can prove to yourself that you can do it? Is it just so that you can tell this girl that she's hot? Is it to get a date? Is it to get a one-night stand? I think kind of like creating an idea of what you actually want the outcome to be from using that approach is so key, because then if you have the idea, then that's like you can then frame how you approach, frame how you speak, frame how you react to their engagement. And then that'll probably help you a lot easier when it comes to approaching someone.
I would say, really good point. I would say it's like almost like an internal game where it's like the only thing I want to get out of this conversation is just have a nice conversation. Don't have, oh, I need to get their number. They need to want to go back with me. I need to have a drink with them. Just be like, all I need to do is just have a conversation or just say hi. Have some kind of like small interaction. And then from there, you can then work your way up to be like, hey, the next time, let's see if I can have a chat for 10 minutes. Let's see if I can get their phone number. Let's see if I can get their Instagram. But if you're really new to dating and you want to get used to like approaching people, make the milestones like really small. So it's like they don't feel like such a massive like, you know, leap to jump over. It's like, hey, all I want to do is go up and just introduce myself. No matter what happens, that's all I need to do. And if I've done that, I've succeeded. And the more you do that, the more comfortable you are. Then you're like, okay, now let's have a conversation.
Yeah.
I'm now okay like talking about stuff. And you can just lead yourself into all these like areas of, you know, sociability.
Sociability.
Yeah.
That's a good word.
Thanks, man.
I think one thing about dating as well, and dating with intention, is you also get to figure out the things that you like and don't like about people. I think
Yeah, fuck yeah.
by dating multiple people, you get to meet multiple different personalities. You get to meet multiple different nationalities or people from different backgrounds.
Yeah, like
and then you
Manchester, Birmingham, Liverpool. Is that...
Portsmouth, Torquay, Bega, where the cheese is. But yeah, I think by doing that, you get to figure out what you like and you don't like. Because I feel like, especially for people who have been in long-term relationships, especially for someone like you who was in long-term relationships throughout their 20s, without that time of being single and being able to speak and experience different people, you never get to figure out who you really are. And I think when you get the chance to date and freely and date completely single, you don't get that opportunity to be manipulated and molded by someone else around you. Because whenever you're with someone for an extended period of time, it's only natural that parts of them will like latch onto you and parts of you latch on to them, and then there is a part of you that grows without really knowing, is this really you? So I think whenever you do become single and you start dating, you're gonna like probably meet someone who has the same traits as maybe your ex, and you're like, holy shit, I actually don't like that. But my ex used to do that, but I was okay with it. But you're probably only okay with it because you were with that person for so long and you just ended up accepting it because you love them.
100%.
You know what I mean? So I think by being single, you get to pick up on these little, I say red flags or amber flags that pop up that once you thought was okay, but now you're like, actually, no, you shouldn't do that in a relationship. But because it's not with someone who you quote unquote love, it's someone who you don't know, so you're seeing them from a more objective standpoint, you're starting to then mentally and emotionally make a list of shit that you're not going to put up with in your next relationship. Yeah. And for me, that's what happened with me. I was able to start picking out things that I want and need in a partner, and there's aspects of the things that I wouldn't tolerate now that I would have had like exes and girls I dated used to do, and because I let that happen, it was only because I was so like infatuated by them because I was in a relationship with them. Whereas now it's just like, no, I've dated enough to realize that stuff like this pisses me off, so I'm not going to tolerate that in a new relationship.
It only happens from trial and error as well. It only happens from going out there and like dating multiple people. Like, you know, small town mentality. If you don't date anyone, you don't really know anything. I think there's a lot of people as well, and it's really interesting because it's like a lot of people don't like the dating game. Is because, and I think this is why, I think people over-expect from dates. They over-expect the outcome of the situation. High expectations.
I used to tell you that all the time. It's like, oh, what do you... I was just like, I literally have no expectations going into this. Yeah. I'm just going and see what happens.
Just go and just have some fun and just see what happens. And I think a lot of people, they get disappointed is because they're over-expecting basically, and they have like an ideal they've put in their mind. And a lot of people go, oh, it was shit because this, it was shit because of that. But I'm like... Why? Because what, you didn't get a boyfriend out of it? Is that why? Yeah. But like, you can't go into every single situation putting that onto someone before you even know what that person's going to be like. I think dating, and I've said this before, is like gambling. You walk into the casino with a set amount of money you're willing to lose, and I think dating is great for this because if you walk in with 20 quid to lose,
you do lose a lot of money dating. You're just spending on bad drinks constantly.
Look, it depends where you go, guys. If you want to know the tips and tricks, I can give you them. Don't go to table service bars. Number one, fucking hate that.
He never goes to table service.
I hate it. I'm not just paying for you because we're on a first date. like, get fucked. Anyway,
That's funny.
Nah, we usually split the bill, like go drink for drink. But yeah, I don't like it because if you go on multiple dates and I'm like, what, you drop in, unless you're on like a lot of money and there's not much money
You're
in
on a lot
tech.
of money.
Well, there's no money in tech anyway. And if there's like, like 300-400 on a date every time, you're spending multiple thousands a week. It's like, whoa, chill out.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
But because I'll go back to the beginning of that point so I can edit it for some good content. But dating,
that one on TikTok.
dating is like gambling. I think if you walk into the casino with a set amount of money you're willing to lose, like 20 quid, be prepared to lose that money and walk away from the table. And I think you'll have a really good time. But I think what a lot of people do, which is why they don't like dating, is they go in 20 quid, throw it down on the table, and they lose, and they go, fuck, sweet, I'll double down. I'll double down again. I'll double down again. It's like, whoa, you spent your 20 quid and you didn't get anything back for it. You had a good time. Walk away and go back another day.
Yeah.
And I think the more people do that and the more mentality they have around this, people will have a much better experience dating because they don't go into every single date saying, I'm throwing in 20 and I'm getting back $1,000.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen. The house, most of the time, will always win. And I think that's the whole fun of dating as well. If every single person was dateable, get some standards.
It is fun to meet new people.
It's so fun. It's so
is.
fun. Even if like a relationship doesn't come out of it, it's like you can meet someone who's educational, interesting, and you just have a really good time with them.
Meet someone who's educational.
Yeah.
You know, it's a good
said
one
that
actually.
one.
I thought about this the other day. What is this dog doing? I thought like it's a good like a business opportunity because from dating the amount of like videography jobs I've gotten.
Have you?
Yes.
That's so funny.
I've literally because I was like I dated this girl who's like a makeup artist.
Yeah.
And at the time she was doing a client's makeup and she was like asking her what she's. Oh my god, he's gonna throw up. No.
Oh, I thought he was doing something weird. I was like, he's doing a weird walk. Oh, that is.
I knew could see him in the mirror.
Oh, that is fucking.
No.
Oh. That is so disgusting.
Sick.
Mate, what's he done?
Get out. Well.
So that vomit was thick and creamy like a fucking
What were we even talking about
McFlurry.
there?
I don't know, man. That was. You said you got loads of jobs on from like going on
That's
dates
what it
with
was.
people.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
That
I
is
was
so-
saying that. Yeah. So I went on this. Was hanging out with this girl, and she was obviously with her client doing the client's makeup, whatever. The client was like, "Oh, what's been up?" He's like, "Oh, I'm seeing this guy." She's like, "What does he do?" It's like, "Oh, he's a videographer." And she's like, "Oh, actually, I've got an event coming up. Would you able to do that?" And then boom, got a job through that, and then through that, I got a referral. Then I got another job.
Jeez.
I think I've gotten like 5 jobs just from dating that one girl because of like referrals. Mad.
Jeez. So look, guys, go on dates. It can not only be beneficial personally, but professionally as well.
And emotionally, yeah.
Yeah.
Financially, personally, emotionally, and all that good stuff.
So, dating tips.
Okay.
Now, I wrote a few things down here. Like when you go to, and you can let me know yours as well. I like the idea of going on a coffee date before you go on a date with someone.
Okay.
Because I've done that. I've done that a few times, and the reason why I think it's so.
It's cheaper.
It's not it's cheaper, but it's like if you chat to someone on Tinder or whatever, and let's say you haven't met them organically, you don't know what that person's going to be like. And when you're on the date, you're pretty much committed to like at least a few hours with them. Like, you know, it happens. You go on the date, you're like, fuck, you know, I don't
Like
wanna
a drink date.
I don't. Yeah. I don't want to be sitting across the road from this absolute. Don't want to be sitting across the table from this absolute potato. So, like, organising a coffee date before. Hey, let's meet for like a 15-minute coffee next week. You're like, awesome. You go. You test the waters. You go for a walk somewhere. Get a coffee. You've already broken the ice. So if you are keen, the next time you go on a date with them, there's not this like awkward first time interaction. You already have like common ground, and that's just off 15 minutes. I think that is so good.
I think
So
I think that depends though. I think
on what? What does it depend on?
I think coffee dates are probably good for people who are a little bit more confident. Because
But wouldn't that be better then?
No. I think when you're more confident when it comes to dates and first dates, a coffee date's quite intimate. Like
Nah, but walk
there's-
somewhere. Don't sit somewhere. Like
yeah,
go for a walk.
I know, but it's still quite intimate because like you're there holding coffee and you're just walking side by side. I think a drinks date is a little bit less intimate to a point because you're able to drink and loosen up, whereas a coffee date is like if I'm already like very very like nervous about a date or not very good at first dates, I think doing a coffee date for first date is like it's the silence would be very very loud on a coffee date. The silence in the bar not so much because you're in a bar, it's loud, you're drinking, you can probably go off and use a toilet, and just because you go on a drink date doesn't mean you have to be there for 3 hours. If it's not going well, you leave. I've literally left after like 45 minutes.
What do you say?
Oh, like we've just finished a bottle of wine and it was done.
What do you like? Oh, anyway, so I'm.
Yeah, I'm gonna go home. I'm finished. Yeah.
Just do you say why? Like, I'm going home because.
Well, she was a catfish, but I didn't say that.
She's like, why are you leaving? Look at yourself.
You look nothing like your photos.
Have a look at you.
You just wasted my time.
Oh,
But
that is an uncomfortable moment. I think that's a lot harder for people to go, oh, I'm going to end the day early. A lot of people be like, oh, let's just get smashed, do you know what I mean? Or let's just like, do you know, that I think takes a lot more like confidence to be like, I'm going to call the day early.
Yeah.
Because you run the risk of the uncomfortable.
I'm gonna waste money spending on a date when the girl looks nothing like a photo. I was like, nah.
My mate, he used to tell me about this thing.
So much editing.
He used to do back in the UK called Hour of Power. So him and his mate.
Oh yeah, that's like a thing up in Newcastle.
So like, well, let me know if it's the same. So this Hour of Power, he used to do it in London when he lived there. He would organise a date, meet a chick at like 3:00 in the afternoon for like a long lunch, like a long, late lunch, whatever. Would hang with them for maybe just an hour, get to know them. And because quite often he would say when he would go on dates with chicks,
this is different.
Yeah, they wouldn't want to sleep with him on like the first date. So what he would do is he'd do an hour of power, meet them for like an hour of drinks, get to know them, and be like, oh, I've actually got a work thing I've got to go to, but I'm going to be out later on. Let me know if you're going to be out. And then he messaged them later on, and then they'd be like, oh, by the way, I'm out. Do you want to come out with me and my friends or come out for drinks? And they'd be like, yeah, sweet. In their mind, that's date 2. And
Smart.
so he'd end up sleeping with them. I'm like,
That's smart.
on the ball.
Yeah.
Very on the ball. Hour of power.
It's a very London thing. That probably wouldn't even really happen here. I mean, if we were all still in the city, maybe you could do that.
Yeah.
But that's a good one.
Yeah, you'd be like, oh, I'm gonna be out later. I know. I see you at Beach Road all the time. That's where I met you last week. Like, yeah. Fair.
That's a good one. Any more tips?
Hour of power. Yeah. When you're on a date, don't sit opposite them. Don't sit opposite them.
That's not the ideal position.
Try and
Sometimes
find,
you can't help that. But
sometimes you can't help it. But I would always get to the bar earlier.
Get an L shape.
I'd get to the bar earlier. I'd be like, oh mate, can I sit somewhere where I can sit like either next to them, or the best one is on like an L.
Yeah. L.
So because then you can get you can build like physical chemistry if they're thin, touch a leg and arm, so you can build that chemistry. And I'd say like on an L, because then it's also not like so intense. You're looking at them the whole time. You can look out to the scenery and stuff like that. And so yeah, definitely sitting on like an L. What about you?
Ask questions. We've talked about that before.
Yeah.
Ask questions and show some interest. Even if you're not interested, at least pretend to be for the time that you're on the date.
Just pretend to be interested.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, that's
you're so funny.
Interesting.
But yeah, I think one of the key ones is to ask questions and kind of elaborate as well. Don't do one word answers. I think these are like, you'd think they're bulk standard advice, but it's really, there's so many people out there that just don't know how to date or how to even engage in conversation.
Go for drinks for a first date. Don't go for dinner.
Yeah, dinner's
a bit intense.
Yeah, dinner's a lot.
Because usually you are going to be sitting opposite someone, and sometimes people don't want to show you how they eat on a first date. Someone like myself, I'm a very
loud eater,
loud, sometimes very messy eater. I don't want someone to see that.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
fair.
Just drinks. Keep it casual. Go for drinks. Maybe dinner like the third date. A light bite and a walk, but definitely just drinks on the first date. And activity is always good.
Yeah.
Maybe not the first day activity can be
a
cool.
lot of girls say
you take the focus away.
Yeah, a lot, because I think when you do activities, it kind of cuts off some of the awkwardness, because you talk and then you do this, like you talk and then you bowl, you talk and then you do that. So kind of like it allows you to, I guess, to stagnate the conversation, so that if it does get a bit awkward, you can go and do what you need to do activity-wise and think about something else you could ask and then come back again.
Beach dip. Going for a beach dip on a date.
Not everyone lives by the beach.
If you do live by the beach, going for a dip is a very nice icebreaker. Because if you're comfortable enough to get in your bathing suit, or for a lad getting your budgie smugglers, you're both very comfortable, confident people, and you're probably going to get along.
I can't imagine many people would do that on the first date.
I'm just not going to respond to that. Let's go straight over.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like a lot of people wouldn't do that on the first date.
No, I know my mates have done that. They've been like, oh, hey, we're meeting.
It's the type of women that they're going for.
Look, if you are going for a route, take him for a dip. Let's just be honest here. If you are going for a route and that's all right, just take him for a dip. It's not
hate that term route.
I know. I've started using it a lot more. Get a route in. It's a very Australian term. Route and boot.
I don't think I have any more tips. I think the main one is just to not go in with too much expectation. Don't start creating a narrative in your mind or creating a future.
Yeah.
After the first date, because it was like a good date. I know there's, as a lot of people say, there's not many good men out there or good women out there, but there are. But
just like job interviews, they're probably interviewing loads of other people.
Literally.
Don't just think you're the only person.
Yeah.
No matter how good you think it went, that's how good you think it went. You have no idea what they think. Even if you ask them, they're going to have to say yes.
They may not even tell you the truth.
Yeah. So, don't just think you're the only candidate in the running.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's about it.
Thank you very much.
Anything else? We got no more dating tips. Yeah. Try and take them to a bar close to where you live.
Saving taxis.
Saving taxis. Less time to think things through.
Oh my God. Right. Goodbye, friends.
Thank you, guys. Stay safe. Like, share, subscribe, follow, all that jazz. Woo-hoo. And see you very soon.
Hallelujah.
Peace.